Some of the world-famous puppet artists travel all the way to Quanzhou, China, to be a part of a gala every 3 or 4 years. They call Quanzhou an oblivious small Chinese city, city of the puppet. Quanzhou was already a port city as early as the Tang Dynasty. Ocean-faring merchant ships starting from Quanzhou sailed to India, Persia, Arabia, and Africa, and then to the Mediterranean. And the trading business also promoted a cultural exchange. Quanzhou people loved puppets and puppet shows, and they were not alone. In the imperial capital of Chang'an, thousands of miles away, the Tang Emperor Li Longji was also fond of the puppet. Europeans, Persians, and Arabians brought with them their puppet arts to Quanzhou, where they sojourned. The Tang Emperor was so fond of the puppet art that he promoted Lei Haiqing, a famous flutist in a Quanzhou puppet show troupe, to a high position. Today, Quanzhou's puppet artists still worship Lei as the deity of the puppet show.
中国技艺最高超的一种体现木偶的表演，也可以说是世界上最好的木偶表演，也在泉州。好几种这种文化的遗存同时集中在这个地方，有不少的学者都为之大吃一惊，认为泉州就像一只非常大的巨型的冰箱，突然会从里头掏出来是非常新鲜的，几乎已经被忘却的一种宝贝。
The puppet is popular worldwide. It is a wooden small figure modeled on human or animal images. It used to be instrumental in primitive people's desire to please the deities. The puppet began to be produced in Europe about 10,000 years ago, featuring predominantly female images, which shows the inclination of reproduction worship. The Chinese puppet first appeared about 3,500 BC, later than that in Europe. By 2000 BC, dancing and singing puppets appeared in China. From that time on, the puppet took on the function of pleasing people with performances in which the puppet was controlled by human performers who also did all the speaking and singing. The puppet has double roles. Performer carved and painted by humans on the one hand, prop controlled by man on the other.
作为我们木偶戏演员呢，他与观众见面的是木偶，那他就必须要有操纵技术。那演员作为木偶戏演员，他必须要完成自身的塑造。那么他和其他的演员一样，要完成自身的塑造，然后再把自身的这种情感。 对角色的这种情感，然后传达给木偶，用木偶来表现出来。
In terms of materials and ways of control, Chinese puppets can be classified into 4 categories: rod-controlled puppet, wire-controlled puppet, glove-shaped puppet, and iron rod puppet. The rod-controlled puppet looks like the head of a walking stick. The wooden stick linked to the puppet head is like the central nervous system, which controls all the movements of the puppet. The 2 thin rods serve as the puppet's muscles and skeleton.
这个是我们团的练功木偶，练功木偶呢，这个它是那个之所以用纸做的。 你看这脏的吧，就可以洗，可以什么的。另外，它这个装的比较复杂，头还能够转，能够来回摇摆。这底下装的是这样的，我们管它叫手枪把，也是学习那个外国的那个制作方法给它改良做成的。这个呢，我们就是叫的就是那个外操种的，外操种呢就是把这个刚才那个命棍儿、理论棍儿。 放到外边来，放外边的话呢，就是它咬下之后上呢，它更灵活。这是特别适合于就是舞蹈的。
This kind of puppet is easy to control, and it can perform acrobatic actions such as somersaults. It is also very expressive in performing feminine movements and feelings.
关节的就带关节的，这没有手的，就带关节的。这手上呢也有线，这个腿上呢也有线，这个腰上也有线，这胯上也有线，这个头呢也有线。
The wire-controlled puppet would be a heap of mud without the densely arranged wires running down through its head. The use of the hands of the wire-controlled puppet are divided into 2 categories: martial-oriented hands and gentle movement-oriented hands. The former is applied to brandish spears and sticks. The latter is applied when the puppet is supposed to move the prop from one place to the other on the stage. All this helps the puppet show realism. This is a Song Dynasty painting in the collection of Taiwan's Palace Museum, showing a child spellbound while seeing a puppet performance. The iron rod puppet is uniquely structured. It evolves from the leather silhouette show. With painted, mud-sculptured head, wooden carved body, and the hands made of bound paper, it is controlled by iron rods. The glove-shaped puppet is also called palm puppet. It is very simple in terms of its structure and the prop the performance uses. All puppets and props can be packed into a cloth bag and easily carried to the performance venue. When it comes to performance, the performers simply fetch the puppets from the bag and start performing. People call this kind of puppet show a bag show. How to make the puppet move was the oldest question the artists have tried to solve. Among the movable puppets, the water power puppet seems to be the oldest.
一个钩子，一个操纵钩子，这个线呢也是从底边顺过去的，顺过去呢，它从一拉的线这种的，它除了动作就所谓飞就能做这几个动作，能够这么转，能够这么转，能够这么转一下。
The water-driven puppet is powered by the ancient water wheel. Its structure is simple and the movement awkward. But in ancient times, this kind of puppet could make up large formations and, driven by the water wheel, could do a group dance to the audience's amusement. Every puppet is a meticulously wrought craftswork. The images of the Monkey King, Piggy, and Bull Monster from Chinese legends or classic novels appear on the stage in a very vivid way and appeal to the audience's fancy, achieving better results than real human actors. Their movement embodies agility and simple beauty, exaggerated and real.
这个广东地区的木偶制作，跟其他别的那个省市不一样。它那个制作，那个不同的，主要是表现在眼睛上。它这个眼睛啊，表现的活灵活现，能够那个闭，并且还能够两边还能够溜，还能溜。说这个演起那个戏曲人物来，那是非常好的，活灵活现。
One of the most salient attributes of the Chinese puppet is the facial makeup borrowed from Chinese operas. The facial makeup lends various personalities to different roles: kind-hearted, brave, cowardly, and so on, leaving strong impressions on the audience. numerous master performers of Chinese puppet shows have emerged in Quanzhou, whose creativity has enriched styles of the Chinese puppet show. This old gentleman, Jia Jiazhou, is widely recognized as the representative of the Southern School of the Chinese puppet show. Disastrous wars happened in China in the 8th and 12th centuries. However, this was good luck in disguise for Quanzhou. Large numbers of intellectuals and folk artists fled to this area. Culture in Quanzhou became prosperous in an unprecedented way. Scarcity of land and the booming of trade helped largely increase the number of people who made a living by staging performances. According to historical records, the largest puppet show troupe had 300 members or so, and the smallest had around 100 performers and clerks. In the 14th century, the Ming monarchy banned all ocean-faring undertakings and shut China's door to the outside world for fear of the spread of Western religion and knowledge in China. Quanzhou's folk art has survived 400 years of seclusion and emerged energetic and vigorous. The ancient puppet art is therefore kept extant like a living fossil. The Quanzhou puppet show art was handed down from one generation of artists to the next over the last centuries. A puppet show troupe generally had 4 or 6 performers and 35 or so puppets, with a repertoire of 500 items. What is worth special mention here is that Quanzhou's string-controlled puppet shows had their own special music. Music scores written in symbols, which are unintelligible to people today, and ancient instruments are still used in Quanzhou's puppet show troupes. The age-old ceremony of younger artists formally becoming the pupil of a master is still there. Through all this, unique features of the Quanzhou puppet show are preserved. Around the 17th century, Chuanzhou's puppet artists were already capable of putting up shows with spectacular scenes, numerous characters, and complicated plots. When the Qing Emperor Qianlong threw a dinner party for his court official at his Hehe resort in 1793, wire-controlled puppet shows were staged. Pending this time, the Tiger Troupe came into being in Chuanzhou, which put up very expressive shows. The puppet in this troupe could complete sophisticated acts such as kicking, reaching for a sword, gripping it, and turning the eyes at one go. At the third International Puppets Festival held in Chuanzhou, people found that puppet shows from different countries were developing towards roughly the same direction, in spite of the fact that the puppets wore different costumes and spoke different languages. Relatively speaking, English, Belgian, Spanish, and Japanese puppet shows lean more to realism. In this puppet show, 5 Li Rainbow seems like a condensed cream of the Chinese puppet art. It tells of a story 850 years ago. A Chinese merchant comes back to his hometown, bringing with him his foreign wife. Seeing snake and turtle monsters make trouble with people and have many drowned in the sea, the merchant makes up his mind to build a bridge across the seas. With the help of the sea deity, Buddhist monks and fishermen, he eventually succeeds in building the longest bridge in the world then, 5 Li Bridge. Chuanzhou's wire-controlled puppet is the most sophisticated amongst the Chinese puppets in terms of controlling mechanisms. The more complicated it is, the more wires there are. This old artist, Huang Yiche, controls a puppet monkey through more than 30 strings and thus renders the puppet monkey energetic and mischievous. When the old man condensed his skills honed over the last 70 years onto this puppet, he actually gives the puppet life and strength. Some people may ask why the puppet culture originated in different parts of the world at roughly the same time. Why the puppets the world over had so many things in common with the lack of necessary exchanges. The puppets themselves, however, don't care about that. They have their own lives and souls. They are unfailingly happy, humorous, and energetic, whether in the past or the present.